So the inverter is off, right? Everything is off. Battery is off. This is the AC input to the inverter, and this is the DC. All right. So everything, the battery voltage is at 53.1 volt. I'm gonna turn on the battery, and then I'm gonna turn on the inverter. So I'm gonna flick up the battery. Battery's on. Alright, now I need to pull up the inverter. So let's see what happens. Turning on inverter. Boom. It's making a lot of popping sound. See if I can see. If you see any sparks. Hear the sound, I don't see nothing. So guess what? It's not connecting to the... It's making a lot of popping sound, but it's not connecting. And then it just shuts down back. That's all that happens. Battery is on, but it's not connecting to the battery, just making some popping sound. Press out and go back in. Okay, still not connecting to the... It's gonna shut down if I turn on the grid. It will take the grid and send it to the load because it's not taking it from the battery. So let's see what happens. I just turn on the grid. See, grid will go to the load and the inverter will stay on. So that will happen. It's not taking any energy from the battery. Even though it detects the battery, it's not taking any energy from it. When I shut back off the I shut off back the grid. Let's see what happens. Boom, grid off. Will it go take energy from battery? No, it's not. It doesn't. It's not switching to battery, and it's making a lot of popping sound. So, there was a spark. It's sparking on the inside. It's popping, pop, 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 pure pop, pop, pop sounds happening on the inside, and it's happening. I can tell exactly where it's happening because it's happening on the charge controller board, that circuit board. The light is just coming down. That's what's happening. It's not switching, and it's gonna just shut down. It's making out a popping sound. See? So it's not getting from the battery. I'm gonna try again. So if I switch to grid, it will stay on, but it's not taking any energy from the battery. How do I get it to take energy from the battery? I'll have to shut off the So there's only, I don't even know. Sometimes it works, sometimes it just don't work. See, it's off. Alright, I'm gonna pull it down, shut down the battery. Alright. Turn on back the battery. Then power up. Let's see. See, there's flashing light a while ago again. Flashing sparks. Anytime you see any flash down there, sparks. I'm gonna turn on just turn on the grid. It will go to grid, but it just refuses to go to battery. See, grid works. Okay, but it's not switching from the grid to the battery. So if I go off grid, go back to battery, let's see, nothing. It just does that, and then you hear the popping sound like it's struggling to do something. Then it shuts down. Alright, nothing happening, nothing. Just popping sounds like popcorns, but the sparks flying all inside. Alright, let's go again. Let's see if we can get it up now. We're gonna try and get it up. So I'm gonna shut it off. Alright. I'm gonna go again. Turn on back the battery. I'm gonna this no, I'm trying now to see if I can get the battery, because sometimes it will work. Let's see. I turn on the grid. I don't know why it works sometimes. Honestly, it just works. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. There's nothing I can do. It's just turn on and off until it does. Alright, so I powered it down. It's just charging the battery. Well, it's not charging the battery because there's no amps going into the battery, so it's not doing nothing with the battery. It just appear that way. Alright, let's see if I pour it back up. Let's see. Will it shut off the grid? Disconnect from the grid. It's still using the grid. Let me see if I turn off the grid manually. Will it stay from battery? Here, it's popping. Whoa. I have to turn on by the grid. Turn off the inverter. Let's see what happens. So the switching mechanism is not working. If I get it to go from battery, it works, but once it's switched, it's just not working. Alright, so it's getting worse. Yeah, it's just getting worse. Only thing that seems to work now is straight going from the grid to the load. But if I shut off the battery while it's on that, let's see what happens. Nothing happens because it is in bypass mode. So that's that. Turn on back the battery. I'm trying to jump start this to get it onto the battery. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Still not going from the battery. I'm going to turn off back the grid and see what happens. Hear that? Look at all of that happening. All sorts of things happening. Boom! It gives me an error for it. Connects to the battery this time though. It connects to the battery. Oh, it didn't maintain the connection. So it's gonna shut down. Because it was like as it's trying to connect. It's popping, a lot of popping. So still can't get it to connect to the battery. And it's been 8 minutes, so I cannot get to use the battery. I'm only able to use the grid. I'm only able to use the grid. So it's getting worse. What else? Let me see. Shut off grid again. Alright, so it connects, but it's not doing anything with the battery. Let's see if I shut off the grid, the battery will take over. Sometime it does. Let's see. Shut off grid. Making some noise. Error 4. It stays or it goes. It stays or it goes. Let's see. It gone. It doesn't stay. Turn on back the grid. Sometimes it actually stays, but I'm not able to get it to stay on battery right now. Which telling me the circuit is getting worse and worse and worse. It doesn't matter how many times I turn off this inverter and back is the same treatment. Alright. See, it connects up again. Can I remove the grid and leave it on the battery? Am I able to? Let's see. Let's see. Finally it stays on the battery. And everything is wonderful. Okay, it's now taking out 2.8 amps out of the battery. Because I haven't switched back the house over. So I'm going to switch the house back. So I'm going to let the house put some load onto the inverter. So let's see what happens. So only taking 2 point odd. Let's see when I put the load on it, on this battery now. On an inverter, 31 amps being pulled, battery volts drops. Yeah, so it's working now. It works. See a 50 volt, 50.7 volt, that's what it's saying, 51 volts. Yeah, and this is saying 51.8, but it's working. It's taking energy out the battery, powering the house. 50% because the AC unit is on, so it's pulling 30 some amps on one in total. So I finally get it to work, but you can't see what's happening. That's my problem. And no sparks fly when it's working like this. Once it has made that connection, but when it's trying to transition, it sparks flying because it's not making it. But once it's switched to battery, it works on battery non-stop. It's just when it is switching back and forth, there's issue. It doesn't want to go back to battery most of the times. So that is it from me.